Over the past week, Battlefield has not only banned one of the largest content creators, but also removed one of the longest serving content creators from the EA Creator Network. I want to say I'm surprised, but no, I'm not. And now EA is in full damage control mode. And the funny thing is, if you actually take a look at how this whole thing started, it's from Battlefield themselves. They got themselves into this position, and every step of the way where Battlefield could have made a decision on what to do or what to respond, they've made the wrong one. So we're going to take a look at the grave Battlefield has been digging themselves right now and how exactly we've come to this point. This type of stuff has been so insane that, as you can see, I don't usually do videos like this. I mean, hell, I even got my crutches right here. I literally came back from physical therapy. I was watching all this stuff unfold. I was reading the Twitter, and I was just like, I gotta talk about it. I gotta make a video about it, because this is starting to get ridiculous. This is now starting to verge on like indie game level territory of this immaturity that Battlefield is showing regarding Battlefield 2042. So I'm not gonna lie, I used to be a huge Battlefield fanboy, but hey, you got the stuff right there. See, I got the receipts. But over the past years, I've just been a little disenfranchised with where Battlefield has been going. They've just made some poor decisions. I mean, I started making Battlefield videos and streams when I first wanted to get into this whole thing, but I've moved on. Maybe I'll like them in the future, but based on past Battlefields, probably not going to happen. But one of the long-term Battlefield creators, one of the guys I actually started streaming around the same time he started streaming, is Enders. He streams primarily Battlefield as well as making YouTube videos on Battlefield, and has been since I've known him in Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. He's a professional player and arguably one of the best Battlefield players that I have ever seen. So much so that he gets accused a lot of times for being a cheater. Now, one thing to note is Enders has a certain personality that can rub people the wrong way. I'll just say it like that.
Our rate of attrition is dangerously high.
What? Fucking fuck off. Fuck off, Dice, you fucking c. Goodbye. Thank you guys for hanging out. Fuck you. Just fuck this.
Very aggressive sometimes, does not shy at all from speaking what's on his mind and letting people know that if you play poorly, he's going to call you out for playing poorly. At the end of the day, he might be a little aggressive, but I don't believe he actually directly targets anyone. I don't think he goes on voice and actually yells at them. Yes, of course, he's on stream kind of making fun of people and stuff, but I don't think it's targeted in the sense where he's DMing people and he's on voice yelling at them. So there is a little bit of separation between Enders, who's making fun of you in chat, and then someone else who is actually going on in game and DMing you and following you around and maybe team killing you or voice spamming you. There's a very clear, distinct separation of what Enders does on stream for maybe more so content, and then what he actually does in terms of quote unquote harassing players. I don't think he actually harasses players, although he can be very vocal around people. Now, in saying that, Battlefield has, let's just say, not the best reputation in being a good video game right now. Don't shoot the messenger. If you like it, great, but you're one of the few people who actually do like this game. Now, Enders, throughout his entire history of playing Battlefield, if something is made, patched, a new weapon implemented, he's going to let you know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Personally, I think he does it kind of aggressively a lot of the times, but the base of his arguments are usually pretty sound because he's a professional player. He knows weapon stats, he knows what's meta, he knows what's not meta, and he's going to use the tools that the developers give him to best win at the game. It's what professional players do. So now the actual drama starts, where about a week ago, Battlefield developer was interviewed, and I'm not going to say his name, even though he said his name on the podcast. If you go search the podcast, you're going to find his name. Even on his Twitter handle, it says his name. There's nowhere where this person has chosen to stay anonymous in, one, what his real name is, or two, what his title is. In saying that, I don't think it's right for people to go out and target, harass this guy, to email him personally and say things that are wrong with Battlefield. I don't think that's right. I don't think anyone's going to agree that that's what you should do. However, if you put yourself out on a public platform, like a podcast that is public, or if you put yourself out in public on Twitter saying that you are this person and you are a development person on Battlefield and you're in charge of weapon balancing, you should expect people to either agree with your job or disagree with your job, saying that, hey, you know what? I think the Battlefield things you've been doing is great. Or on the other hand, I think you're dumb and Battlefield 2042 is garbage and you're part of the reason why. It's the nature of being public facing. I mean, I'm not going to get super upset when people come and thumbs down my video. There's some videos I have that obviously people don't like and they let me know. But I put myself in the position to make something that the public was going to respond to. Not all the time is it going to be favorable. It's going to be negative sometimes, and that's just what we deal with. So the developer went on a podcast explaining some development decisions on weapon balancing, to which Enders took, I don't want to say personally, but he admits that he was irrationally upset about some of the decisions being made for weapon balancing, especially when it comes to certain weapons that are grossly overperforming compared to others. In this video, I have it muted, but I have it linked down below. In this video, he goes over and actually plays the voice recording of the developer who is stating his, maybe, I don't want to say opinions because it's obviously implemented, but maybe the reasoning behind some of these Battlefield decisions on weapon balancing. They are actual quotes. He's not putting words. Enders isn't putting words in this developer's mouth. He's quoting the podcast, and after the developer finished speaking, Enders once again, in a very Enders way, maybe not so eloquently, but he states that he's wrong, or he feels that the developer is wrong, and starts talking about actual RPM, weapon attachments, real high-level professional Battlefield responses to why the developer is wrong and how he feels these weapons should be better implemented.
You don't need any feedback to understand the G57 is overpowered, because weapon balancing is math. The only thing you need to look at are the values associated with the G57. As it stands right now, the G57 is a 1000 RPM in burst mode, hipfire god weapon with a headshot multiplier that belongs on ARs.
To me, this actually seems like a pretty level-headed Enders video. I've known Enders for a while now, and he can get kind of out there on some of his streams and videos, but this is, for how irrationally angry he is, he's simply stating actual facts and statistics on weapons and how they kind of disprove what the developer is saying. And he kind of makes the argument to the developer has certain feelings that are unfounded when you actually look at weapon statistics. That's a really good video, and developers should take advantage of professional players who have real experience, not only playing the game as much as they do, but then especially when they look at actual statistics and performance and weapon attachments and how they affect real gameplay. That's invaluable. Now, as a result of that video, Enders was actually banned from Battlefield 2042, and let's take a look why. So I'm actually going to show the notice Enders got. He got an email from EA DICE about his Battlefield account. It says, "Hello, we noticed that your Battlefield 2042 account has been involved in sustained harassment towards members of our team, which violates our EA user agreement Battlefield community guidelines. For this reason, we have taken steps to prevent your gameplay access to Battlefield 2042 for a period of 7 days on all platforms." Additionally, it was also banned from the Battlefield 2042 Discord, as you have been banned from the Battlefield server. Reason given: after re-reviewing past cases of toxic behavior and unacceptable comments in the server and towards members of the community, we have decided to remove your access to the Battlefield Discord. You may appeal this ban after 30 days. So Enders actually received an in-game suspension and ban for a video due to targeted harassment to members of the EA DICE Battlefield development team. And what makes this even more insane is not only did they ban him, but also, I'll bring this up as well, and on the same day that Enders was banned, he received this on May 12th, the Battlefield made a public Instagram post reminding people that you need to respect the terms and agreement in the EULA, so that way you're not harassing or being overly toxic to developers of the team. And that if you are, well, we're going to remove you. This seems incredibly crazy overreaching, because at the end of the day, that video really wasn't anything out of the ordinary for what people have said about Battlefield. Enders was maybe a little aggressively, but he was arguing a point that certain design decisions are not being made with the right statistics or analytics. They're not being made because people want to help improve the game, but they're being made because maybe they're trying to cater to the lowest denominator of the player base and try to make people feel good when they're playing a shoot 'em up video game. Okay, so let's just say theoretically that whatever happened in that video is actual harassment towards the devs. Once again, I don't see it. I don't think it is. Go watch the video. I linked it again. Once again, it's 8 minutes. Watch the video. I don't think that is. But let's just say theoretically that that's targeted harassment, and that because of that, the DICE EA Battlefield devs can ban you from the game. All right, we're going and we're just believing because of that video you can get banned. Well, what throws a wrench into all of this is one of Ender's Battlefield community members actually posted a tweet of a DM that he's been having from a dev at Battlefield. And it's up on the screen right now. He says, probably shouldn't be sharing screens of a convo between a dev and I, but I've been reporting harassment for months. No action has been taken when I tried reporting a player for calling the dev something terrible. I was told this. Crazy the double standard. When it is clear that such behavior is taking place and transmitted from within the game, then they are working to address it with those involved. Meaning that if there is toxicity or targeted harassment within the game, the Battlefield devs are able to take action and deal with it. When incidents are taking place on platforms such as Discord or Twitch, then the only thing that we can ask is that you report such stuff to those platforms. You absolutely need to report imagery that was sent to you, and I would also encourage you to restrict access to your DMs to prevent receiving anything further. We are only able to investigate and provide sanctions, meaning in-game sanctions, when it comes to incidents within the game, such as signs of individuals following you from match to match, hacking, cheating, or vulgar or harassing messages made within the game chat. On one hand, you have an actual Battlefield dev talking to a community member who's trying to report someone for out-of-game harassment and toxicity. And that person is being told directly by a Battlefield dev, sorry, we cannot issue any type of game ban or suspension due to things that happen out of game. It's not possible. If it happened in Discord, report it to Discord. If it happened on Twitter, report it to Twitter, whatever. And then on the other hand, they actually just banned Enders for making a video about an opinion that a dev had from a podcast, once again, public podcast. So his video is now being used to punish him with an in-game suspension. So can Battlefield actually ban you for something that you do on YouTube or on Twitter or Twitch? According to the devs, no. But according to what actually happened to Enders, yes. So right now, Battlefield is like the Wild West. You could get banned for something that you say on YouTube, or maybe you can't. Maybe if it's not visible enough, then nobody cares about it. But if it is visible enough, then they want to make an example of you, like what they're doing with Enders. So this right now is already one of the most messy situations I've seen from a game PR sense in a while. It's pretty crazy that this is actually happening. The DM that came out couldn't have been more perfectly timed, since it is exactly explaining a situation in what Enders is currently experiencing right now. Not only are you having Battlefield devs being a little two-faced, banning people for like a video, but then not banning people because it's not in-game harassment, you then have an actual EA Creator Network creator who has just been removed from the program because of a leaked DM. Ghost Gaming, who's a YouTuber, Battlefield YouTuber, has been part of the EA Creator Network for about 10 years, was actually removed from the EA Creator Network for leaking a DM regarding clarification on an upcoming patch for Battlefield 2042. On the screen up here is a tweet that says, so after 10 years creating videos on the Battlefield franchise, I've just been kicked from the EA Creator Network for leaking this absolutely shocking statement that tells us nothing more than the reason behind what we already know. So I'll pause this on the screen. I'll have it up here. If you want to pause it, read it, go for it. Essentially, it's talking about a new implementation for squad management. If you haven't played Battlefield 2042 for a while, there is now going to be a new patch where you can have better squad management. But part of the squad management is you can't actually kick people, you can't lock squads, you can't remove people from squad. It's to be honest, it's kind of a joke of squad management. But anyway, the DICE Stratford here, the community manager, is responding to Ghost Gaming in a closed Discord just for the EA creators, and he's clarifying potentially Ghost's question on what are the tools available for squad leaders when it comes to this new patch. Stratford answers, Ghost takes a screenshot of that and then publicly posts it. Now, I'm a member of many of these types of closed Discords where you get to talk with devs, community managers, other creators privately, and I will say this. What Ghost did on the surface level is actually not that big of a deal. In terms of the information that was leaked, it's not that big of a deal. There's no content that's coming out that's all of a sudden, oh my God, we weren't expecting this weapon or this map and now it's leaked and yada yada. But fundamentally, the creator networks that these Discords all have, whether it's Battlefield or whatever game, they kind of have either written or unwritten rules that whatever happens in the Discord stays in the Discord. So if you leak it, there is always a potential for you to be removed. Part of these things that I have, especially Squad, where I've been really close with devs and other creators for years, I'm not going to be surprised if all of a sudden something gets leaked and someone gets removed. That's just the nature of it. What people are having an issue with, and what Ghost Gaming is trying to underline here, is that what he leaked wasn't that big of a deal. But I'm going to have a little bit of a controversial opinion here. The reason why he's actually been removed is because what he leaked makes DICE and EA and the Battlefield development team look stupid. They are clarifying that they are continuing this development reasoning that they are having all these things added to Battlefield 2042 in order to help people feel better about their game. In order to, once you get in, you don't want to see your deaths, because if you see that you have a lot of deaths, you're going to feel bad that you're a bad player. You don't want to join a squad in Battlefield 2042 and then be kicked from that squad. Oh my goodness, that could just make you feel so, oh, what did I do to get kicked? Am I a bad player? They don't want people, for whatever reason, to have negative feelings while playing their video game. And so by publicly posting what Stratford has said, it is once again reinforcing that DICE are making kind of stupid decisions, and it's making them look worse to the public player base. If I was in Ghost's position and I received this, I would have clarified, hey, is it okay if I post something about, not having the kick or ban feature? And more than likely, Stratford would have said, yeah, that's fine. Just make a general statement just to clarify so that way the player base knows. But by actually posting those words and attaching it to Stratford, it's making DICE look incompetent. To me, that is why he's been removed. Now, do I think EA DICE handled this one properly? No. Do I think that they shouldn't have removed him? No. I mean, he should have expected to be removed based on literally screenshotting a comment from a private Discord. That's not surprising to me at all. But I don't necessarily think that EA DICE should have gone to the route of expulsion, especially when you take into consideration the history that Ghost Gaming has had in the EA Creator Network. For the most part, it seems like he's a very kind of straightforward Battlefield creator that's just knowledgeable about Battlefield and likes the franchise. And he was obviously trying to use this screenshot to clarify his position that the squad mechanics are going to be no kicks and bans. However, Battlefield just saw the screenshot, saw what was posted, and is now embarrassed for it, so they have to make, unfortunately, Ghost Gaming a fall guy for it and an example, just like Enders is being an example for now targeted harassment towards dev team and other EA Battlefield members. Unfortunately, what I think this is doing is causing more players to not trust EA and DICE. And there's already a significant portion of the player base, myself included, that does not trust the development team in terms of making Battlefield fun and making Battlefield feel Battlefield again. But now you have these very loud people who are getting banned for what appears to be no reason, or very, at the most, very kind of wishy-washy reasons. That's going to cause a lot of players to say, wait, what do you mean? Are they actually squashing all negative feedback about this game that they publicly have said is not performing well? Are they actually telling people that they can't have any negative feedback whatsoever? It's a very weird situation that Battlefield has put themselves in for seemingly no reason whatsoever. Every step of the way that Battlefield has done, and every chance that they had to make a decision, personally, I think they've made the wrong PR decision every single time. I'm going to be surprised if at the end of the day, all this stuff is just forgotten about the moment the next Battlefield releases, because it doesn't look good at all. You're supposed to manage a community, not punish people for opinions on a game franchise that they love. But let me know what you guys think. Battlefield has been a contentious subject for me for years, since I love the franchise, but at the end of the day, right now, I kind of hate the franchise. And this just reinforces the fact that EA and DICE is not the same company that we all fell in love with when, hey, we got, Battlefield 1942, Vietnam, Battlefield 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Bad Company 2. All these types of games, I feel like, would have never had a community and community management that would have resulted in the Creator Network ban, as well as a YouTuber being actually banned in game for simple comments on weapon statistics. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to hear from y'all, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.